It's Roxie and I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Roxie.
Hey, Roxie.
Hi. I've been so busy today and I'm tired, and I get here and I go, what's the fifth step? You know, and I was like, oh no, Brenda's reading them right now, and I still didn't even listen. You know, which is fine though, because that's how I was throughout my whole program, you know, from the beginning of this program. That's how I was. What was this? What's that? You know, what's the big book? The big book I thought was the Bible when I first came into this program. And and that got me excited. I go, the big book. I heard the big book and I go, oh, the Bible. They read the Bible here. That's awesome, you know. And then I found out what the big book really was, and even that I did not know anything. My first sponsor that I had, and I started going through the book with her, she sat me down there with a dictionary and a highlighter and the big book. And we sat there and we read it together. And any word that I came to that I didn't know what it was, I looked it up. Stop me, we'll look it up. And I have my own notes throughout my big book, you know, the part that we read with each other. I have my own notes of what words mean, and it makes sense, you know, and I got it. And then, so with my first sponsor, I didn't really get into working the steps. I kind of went more on what AA's history was, and that's all that I got with my first sponsor. And I don't know, there was probably something wrong with me, you know, because things tend to be with me, you know, that are wrong. But I just stopped calling my sponsor, you know, and I knew I was having issues with her, and we just didn't click. Like, we clicked, but we didn't really click that good. And so I decided I probably need to get a new sponsor. And it was just not working for me, you know, and I wasn't enjoying it, and so I had to get a new sponsor. And when I got my new sponsor, it was so crazy how quick we just jumped into the steps. We went over the history, yes, but I didn't sit there and read through it or anything. We just kind of talked about it, and then we jumped right in, you know, step 1 and 2. We went through it, and we saved step 3 for our next day because we had to do, you know, the step 3 prayer, and then I got to step 4, and it took me a while, you know, to come up with my step 4. I got all these cheat sheet papers, which are amazing to have, and they're like printed out, typed up, and everything, and all I had to do was fill in boxes, you know, and it was amazing. I go, oh, this is so easy. I don't know what people are complaining about step 4 being so hard. This is easy, you know. And then I got to step 5, and that's where it became hard for me, because I had all this horrible stuff on this list, you know, of stuff that has happened to me and stuff that I've done to people, and, you know, and having to check box, you know, there's columns, you know, and it has self-centeredness and selfishness, fear, you know, all these things that you're having to check, you know, of what you are in there, you know, and what maybe caused what you did, or, you know, or what caused your resentment, you know, and that's where it got hard for me. But, you know, my sponsor came over to my house, and we sat there. I remember we sat there, and, you know, one by one, we just went down this list. And it was so hard, and it was emotional for me, you know, because I was so scared. I thought that my sponsor was going to judge me, you know, and look at all these things that I did, and just, you know, some things that were very hard for me to even admit to someone, you know, that I've held in for so long, you know, I mean, for years, you know, that I've held in and never told a single soul, you know. It was all inside of me, you know, and with the help of step 5, I was able to tell somebody about those things, and it was okay, you know. I had a sponsor that sat there and listened to me as I went down this list, you know. going through things that have happened and resentments and fears, because there's that fears list too that I had to come up with, and turns out I am scared of everything, and I'm like, gosh. And right now at this moment, as I'm going through, my fifth step, I am feeling like this low, because I'm going through all these things and finding out that I'm scared of everything. And I'm like, man, and my sponsor just sat there with me, and we were able to discuss things, and she answered questions why, and she would ask me, and more just started coming out. There's this saying that I hear and that I like, is that when this program, you get involved in this program and stuff, and you get a higher power, that your higher power and your spiritualness, starts to change you and pulls out these old roots that you have and just pulls them out and pulls them out. And that's what step 5 did for me, just pulled out all these ugly, bad roots that I had that were never going to grow, that were just had them all in me. And my sponsor was there for me, and I remember just crying and crying and crying, because it felt so good to tell somebody about this stuff and not, I knew that she wasn't going to run and tell anybody about it. I was scared, but I've known her for a while, and I knew that she was not going to go tell anybody about what happened. I trusted her, and that was the thing that was good about it, because I was able just to sit there and tell all these deep, dark secrets to her, and and God heard those things, and like I said, pulled out all these bad roots, to allow me to grow in this program. And that's what step 5 did for me. And I remember after that, we got all done, and I stopped crying, and I got to figure out what was wrong with me, all these character defects that I have, that I'm selfish, that I'm self-centered, that I have a lot of fear, fear of all these things, and fear of money, fear of, animals, fear of, all these different fears that I had, and I got to figure this thing out. I wasn't even pregnant yet, I remember, but I was scared to be a mom, and this is way before I was even pregnant. And, I was scared to be in a relationship. I was scared, I was scared of sobriety, and all these different things, and I got to allow God to work in my life by admitting all these things. And afterwards, though, you just feel this great, backpack just thrown off of you. There's this saying that I like as well, is that you're on a boat, and you have all this cargo on your boat, and your boat don't move, so you got to start throwing cargo off, to allow your boat to move. And that's what it did. I was able to get all this cargo off of me, and I could just move forward, and as soon as we got done, though, it was like nothing, we talked the next day, and it didn't get brought up again. I got to do that, and it was done. I got to move on to step 6, and I got to move on to step 7, and realizing that I had to make amends to people and stuff, and that was another hard thing for me as well, and that I'm scared of as well, is making amends to people. And I just got to know that it's okay, everything is going to be okay, and I still have to go back to the steps today. I just recently had to go back to step 3 this week, and letting go and giving things to God with my wedding, because like I said, I have this character defect of selfishness, self-centeredness, people-pleasing, and, and attention seeker, and wanting to be in control of everything. And, I had to go back to step 3. And, and that's the good thing, that I can call my sponsor, and she could tell me, sounds like a step 3 to me. And I'm like, yeah, probably is, huh? And so I got to go back and, do the step 3 prayer again, and everything just turns out that much better, when I'm not worrying about these character defects and letting them control my life like I used to. And, I still today have those character defects that I always have to realize, oh, I'm being really selfish right now, or, oh, I'm just trying to get attention right now, or, oh, that's not about me right now. you know, and I still have to work on that today. After over 2 years of sobriety, it's still there, you know, and I still have to call my sponsor. And like I said, this week I've called my sponsor every single day, you know, with something new, and then to call her and tell her the good thing that came out of it, you know, and it's just good. And I like, you know, the fact that I got to get all, like I said, all that cargo off of you to move on and learn and grow, because that's the only way to do it, is to give it a shot and learn, you know, because like us alcoholics, we have to learn the hard way, you know, and the only way we learn is by going out there and doing that dang thing, and then we finally learn, you know, later on. And that's how I had to go and do it and then learn and see the good that came out of it, you know, and it makes me that much grateful. And I'm grateful to be here tonight, though, and I'll take it for another 24.
Thanks, Roxie.
I was like, oh.
Great job.
You ready?
Ready for you.
Okay, my name's Marianne, and I am an alcoholic.
Sure is.
Roxie, I love what you shared. I mean, there are so many components to your sharing about the fifth step that really touched my heart, you know. We did one of these recovery things, and one of the girls that was the entertainment chair told me I was going to be on the entertainment committee, or I was going to be on the entertainment, is what she said. Like, he said, oh, you can play the piano. I'm like, no, let's not go there. And I can play the piano. No, I can play the guitar. Okay? And so she put me on this committee, and I didn't know what I was going to do, because I hadn't even played the guitar in like 7 years. And I just picked up my guitar and started playing old stuff and prayed, you know, God, if I'm supposed to do something for this Spirit of Sacrifice committee, you know, you better give me something, because I'm empty. And I got this song, and I was playing Blue Suede Shoes, you know, step 1 to get humble, 2 to believe, 3 to get ready, no more to deceive, 4 through 12 will teach you the way. Your higher power will help you when you pray. Okay, so this started coming out, right? And then behind that, I got a song that was titled The Spirit of Sacrifice, and it was really powerful, you know, and a couple of us girls got up there and performed this song, but it was all about the steps. It was basically all about the steps, about coming in like I did, feeling worthless and low, and, you know, being unlovable, and having the people in recovery love me and teach me in a way I never knew, accept me where I was, pick me up where I was. I was spilling coffee, shaking out, and they cleaned up my puke. And they were there for me when I didn't think anybody wanted to be anywhere around me. Most people just told me, don't come back, you know, stay away. And doing the steps was probably my salvation, because in the big book, there's 51 pages dedicated to step 1. Out of 164 pages of a program, I think step 1's pretty dang important if they're going to dedicate 51 pages of it specifically to step 1. Because honestly, if you don't know if you're really an alcoholic, there is no reason for you to do 2 through 12. My life depends on me doing 2 through 12, because absolutely I am really an alcoholic. I know my life is messed up. Step 2 was, I didn't say I was going to do all 12, but it looks like we're doing it this way. Step 2, you know, I had to come to believe that there was a power greater than myself. There was a God, Marianne wasn't it, you know. And for a long time, I think probably drugs and alcohol were my higher power. Couldn't go nowhere, couldn't do nothing without drinking and using, you know. It was like the solution for many, many years, and now it was my nemesis. It was killing me. Can't live with it, can't live without it. Come to step 3. How do you turn your will and your life over to the care of God as you understand them? You know, I had resentments about God before we even get to the 4th step. I mean, I got resentments about a lot of things in life. Life is not fair. And that's just deal with it. It just isn't. Life is not fair. We just have to deal with it. So I had to come to terms with the higher power concept. And the truth is, I've been sprinkled, dunked, splashed, and almost drowned in the river looking for a higher power. And I was blessed to find it in the groups of AA. My first higher power was group of drunks, G-O-D, group of drunks. Then good orderly direction. But now I have a relationship with the higher power, with the Creator, and I choose to call my Creator God, and it doesn't offend me today. You would say God about 3 times, and my butt would be out in the club playing pinball or pool or double-deck pinochle. You know, it was like a sober bar for me, which was a good transition, but it worked. The 4-step, I looked at that on the wall and went, you got to be kidding me. I looked in the big book, and they have these columns in here. I brought my big book, my cheat book, and I was like, it doesn't tell you how to do the other 2 columns. It only shows you the first 3 columns in the book. So how do you do the 4th and 5th column? I can see the examples in here. So the 4th column was, you know, my character defects that my sponsor helped me with, and the 5th column is the absolute opposite, the virtues and the good points. So if I was a liar, then obviously the opposite's going to be honesty. If I was a thief, or I didn't have good scruples, then maybe, you know, I had some integrity. So, you know, when you're doing, that's why for me, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are almost like all squished together for reals. Because if you do a good 4th step, all the tools to do all those other steps is right there at your fingertips. You guys you with me? Okay, so how did I do my first one? I did in my chair and just surface did it. It didn't work. I went back out, did more research and development. My second time, I was a little more humble. I was a little more willing, and I want to go through a couple things that really hit me hard that I wanted to share with you out of my book, because that's the only way I know how to do it. Because step 5 takes us into action. Yes, into action. First off, who the heck do you do your 5th step with? I mean, that was a good question, you know. Who am I going to trust with my stuff? And the big book has 4 suggestions. Somebody that can keep your confidence, closed mouth, trustworthy, supportive, somebody that's going to be unaffected and understand, and somebody that's not going to change your mind. Whatever we've got planned to do. Okay, some things don't have a statute of limitations to expire. So if you killed somebody, I don't recommend telling a sponsor, I'm sorry. Go take it to a preacher. You know, go to a Catholic priest, because at least they're not gonna, I mean, and if, you know, you have this really great relationship with your significant other, don't be telling them stuff that's gonna hurt them. That's not what it's about. I mean, you can use these people that you love and trust, but you got to do it with the right motive. You know? I hope that helps somebody. Sure helped me. So who hears that? How about this? Oh, I like this one. When the 5th step says that we share the 5th step with ourselves, with God, and with another human being. And a lot of times I don't hear it said, but when we finish doing our 4th step, we need to spend an hour with our Creator and really go over this 5th step with our Creator. Once we are done that, then more things may actually be revealed to us when we get honest with our Creator. Once we've done that, then we can look at who we want to really share our 5th step with. But once we make a decision about who we're going to choose to do it with, then we got to get off our anatomy and go do it. You know, quit procrastinating. Don't do it, just go do it. Get it done. Get her done, isn't that what they say? Direction. Pocket our pride. 5th step promises is what Roxie was talking about when the roots were pulled out and the burdens were lifted and the ship could move again, you know. That's when you can level your pride and be honest and get it out there, and you trust, and your sponsor's working with you. Well, I used my sponsor, and they're working with you. Mine did something really unusual, and I should do this more, and I forget, but I had written it because I'm a procrastinator, and I wasn't done doing it, and I was supposed to meet them the next day and all that stuff, and they showed up at my house, and I'd been writing almost all night. And in the morning when they got there, I still was just finishing the stupid thing. And because I had too much pride not to have it done. I was going to be embarrassed, you know. I wouldn't be embarrassed that I hadn't done it when I was supposed to. But they shared with me some pretty horrific, tragic things that they were going to take to their grave, which I was kind of surprised to hear, to be honest with you, some of the stuff that they shared with me, because I would have never thought that this person was capable of doing some of these actions. Just another testimony the program works. And then she gave me about an hour to see if I wanted to add anything else to my list. And, you know, kind of surprising because I found a whole bunch of other stuff to add, you know, that I wasn't going to put on there, I guess. I was going to take to my grave kind of thing. Okay, so, did I share anything else about it? I want to take one thing that I thought was really important. When we're done doing the 5th step, and it's in the big book on page 75, it says, returning home, we find a place where we can be quiet for an hour. This is what we do after we do the 5th step, right? Carefully reviewing what we have done, we thank God from the bottom of our heart that we know Him better. Taking this book down from our shelf, we turn to the page which contains the 12 steps. Page 59 in the big book, in case you don't know. Carefully reading the first 5 proposals, we ask if we have omitted anything, for we are building an arch through which we shall walk a free man at last. Is our work solid so far? What is that saying? If our work is solid so far. You know, do we have a foundation, right? So if you look on page 12 in the big book, it talks about willingness as the foundation. Willingness is the foundation of our journey to spiritual awakening. Are the stones properly in place? Have we skimped on the cement put into the foundation? Have we tried to make mortar without sand? The foundation. How about the cornerstone? I love that. The cornerstone is on page 47 in the big book. To believe is the cornerstone of the foundation. Just believing. So willingness is the foundation. Believing is the cornerstone. And the keystone, decision is the keystone. On page 62, it talks about the keystone of the program. Oh my God. See, when it says, have we tried to make mortar without sand? I don't know if you guys really understand the depth of that, because that's asking us seriously about step 1. That's what it's really asking us. Are we convinced that we really have a disease of alcoholism? Do we really have this disease? Because if we're trying to make mortar without sand, it's not going to set. No matter what we're building, no matter how the blocks are laid and all that kind of stuff, you know. So it's all in here. It's pretty powerful. Step 6, I'm going to take you guys steps 6 and 7 right quick because I think it's cool. Okay? 6 for me is like north on a compass. It's like your value system. Not mine, my mother's, my brother's, my best friend, my sponsors. It's mine. My life experiences. I know right from wrong, good and bad. And I have to find a value system that I can live in clean and sober today. What kind of mom, sister, daughter, co-worker, AA member, citizen in the community do I want to be? And can I live within these value systems that I set for me? Okay? Doesn't mean that I'm not going to keep growing, because I am. And I have to stay within my boundaries, because if I keep stepping outside my boundaries, I'm going to end up drinking again. It's inevitable. I mean, even like on page 69, which is the AA sex page, I think it's so funny that we have that page for sex. But, I mean, if you have an affair, it doesn't mean you're going to get drunk. But if you continue to do that behavior and you don't address that behavior, you're inevitably going to end up getting drunk. It's just going to happen to you, because you can't keep doing outside your own value system. Unless you're a swinger, and it's okay in your opinion, you know. But I couldn't do it. Let's just put it that way. I don't know. Six for me is not just the simple things today, the basic, hungry, angry, lonely, tired, serious, sexual, spiritual, trying to find a healthy balance in those. But it's also taking care of simple things like getting the car fixed, paying the bills, going to the dentist, exercise and eating right, doing the basic things that I need to do to improve my life to stay in a healthy boundary, right? So everything that's outside of that I'm still doing, because I'm not perfect, it's always progress, not perfection, then I have that to put on my 7th step altar. God, please remove my selfishness and my self-centeredness. Help me to be more loving and giving. Help me to be more tolerant. Help me not to be judgmental. Whatever it is that I'm experiencing in life, not be so quick-tempered or jump to conclusions. Help me to do these things. I cannot afford to step up to the bar and have a drink of resentment or a drink of self-righteous indignation. I cannot do that because that sets me up to drink, real drink. And drink in anger is a real drink for me today because it's toxic. So I have a lot of things still that I put on my 7th-step altar. I have to ask my Creator to help me to do better on these things. Don't throw away your 4th-step, for God's sake, until you do 5, 6, 7, 8. Please don't throw it away. Don't burn it. Don't shred it. Don't do anything like. You need it to reference so that you can. How are you going to make your 8-step amends list if you trash your 4-step inventory? You need to go back through your 4-step inventory, look at all those resentments so that you can make your 8-step amends list. The people that you did wrong, the things you did wrong. And I hear a lot of different things about making amends, but I'm like, you got to balance karma. Some people die. Some people I didn't even know very well. He just had a red truck. How do I make amends to stuff like that? So I have to pass it on. It may be somebody else with a red truck, So I don't know if I helped you guys, but I hope I did. I hope the stones are in place. I hope you can. The 4th-step I would love to have been a part of because I would have showed you there's Bill's way and there's Bob's way. Bob's way is easy. It's just the little check boxes, kind of like what Roxie was talking about. And that's really good for a newcomer because the newcomer doesn't even have to do the writing. If you look on page 13, Abby and Bill Wilson are sitting down at the table or at the sanitarium, and Bill's going through DTs. I guarantee you Bill wasn't doing the writing. Abby was doing the writing, and it was the checklist that they did. But they did 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 right there. So to make this a huge, long, blown-out thing like we're doing today, you give people a workbook like 28 pages and tell them go do this, to go beat themselves up in isolation, which we have a disease of isolation any damn way, to go beat themselves up with guilt and remorse and all that crap all by themselves is insanity. I mean, when you get a little more time and you want to go deeper into the nature of your wrongs, it's not every damn thing you ever did wrong in your life, it's the nature. Am I a liar? Am I a thief? Am I dishonest to myself and others? Do I have this self-pity all the time? What is it in my behavior, my real nature of my actions that's causing me problems? And those are the things. I love 6 because we don't really have to do anything, We just have to let God do it. This is the step where it's like God did for me what I couldn't do for myself. I said, I know these are wrong, and then I put them on 7, take them, remove them from me. Give me the strength and the courage to daily do your will, That's about all I got tonight, you guys. I hope you got something out of it.
Thanks, man.
That was beautiful.
Okay. Thanks, Marianne, Roxie. I know you're not here anymore. Take the baby home, I guess. Thanks very much. I liked it. I really did. Opened my eyes up a little bit. look at things a little different. I don't know what we're gonna do, if we wanna take a break or just carry on with the meeting. I say we just carry on and then we can go home earlier. And if you have to have a smoke, you can run outside. So we'll open it up for some discussion if you like.
I'm Brenda, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Brenda.
Hey, Brenda.
It was great to hear you talk about the steps. I always like listening to you talk about the steps, but I get to listen to that all the time. I have more research and stuff on the steps and all the different ways they used to do it and do it now and how some people do it and how Mary Ann does it. It's unbelievable, the information I have. How come I didn't get to do the easy check mark one?
Didn't have it then.
I'm just kidding. But I guess I just wanted to touch on how freeing step 4 and 5 is, how absolutely freeing it is. Wow, it's amazing. You know, you just don't realize it, and I didn't realize it immediately, but it's just, you know, you start to realize that you feel different and you feel better, and you know, it's working the steps is absolutely amazing and essential for alcoholics so you can move forward in life. Or it's like dragging around this big bag of rocks, like Santa Claus carries, you know, until you free yourself of all that shit. But I also like how you explain how they all just kind of flow together, because that's exactly how that works. And they're laid out the way they are for exact reason, in order. You know, like you always say, you can't go pick this one and then do that one and then do that one. For a reason, it's like I did step 4 and 5 kind